From the heart of Kansas City, we bring you Buck and Bob from Kansas City with Tom. I'm Buck.
And I'm Tom. But what about Bob?
Bob sadly is feeling a little under the weather today. He's actually passed out sleeping, which is best because you always need sleep and liquids when you're feeling under the weather. But if he wants to talk about that when he comes back, he can tell you all the specifics. But that's just what we're going to keep it at for tonight. So tonight, Tom and I are going to talk about the Colts and the Chiefs.
Yeah, we got a big weekend ahead of us here. I mean, we've got the Chiefs sitting at 5-5 and kind of staring at a legit must-win situation at home against the 8-2 Colts. Nobody saw the Colts sitting at 8-2 at the beginning of the season, but here we are coming off of a hard loss, which meant a lot. Let's see. The Colts lead the league in scoring at 32 points per game. That's it. That's pretty interesting. I'll tell you what. And a lot of it is because Jonathan Taylor is running like a man possessed.
Absolutely killing it right now. So last week, I thought, and we kind of talked about it, was kind of a must-win game, right? And we didn't come through. So is this a have-to-win game? I know mathematically, no, but what is? I mean, we got to win this, right?
I think every week it gets a little bit more important, and I mean, with walking out of there with a loss last week, I mean, I think that just amplifies how important this game is. And then looking at the rest of the games throughout the rest of the season, I mean, each one is going to grow in importance, and we're going to need a little bit of help from the teams in front of us as well. I mean, the Bills losing last night, that's a good thing. But at the same time, we're tied with the Texans right now. And so the Texans just got to win, a quality win at home. And don't we still have to play the Texans?
Yeah, we played them week 14.
Week 14.
Yeah, I don't have the day. Oh, it's right after the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, every week, I think it's going to feel like this. I think that's what we've got going on for the rest of the season. It's kind of like it's time to get into playoff mode. Because
and it's like every season there's one or two teams that just completely come from nowhere. I mean, who are the Colts last season, right? But this season they're the big team to beat now, and it's just, man, the timing for this, and the Chiefs just, after losing to the rival Broncos and not looking good doing it and playing against a team that seems to have things going. That's a little scary.
One thing that I've seen online that just makes me chuckle, because I mean, we've been around a while, but this looks like the late 90s, early 2000s, where you look at the top of the AFC and who is it? It's the Patriots, the Colts, and the Broncos. And here we are again. History repeats itself.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I was kind of thinking about this, man. After we did the post-game show last week, one of the things that we talked about with the running game was that the Denver Broncos, now the Denver Broncos don't have Jonathan Taylor, but we held every one of their runners to right around 2.5 yards per carry, and they didn't stack up a whole lot of yards. I think the run defense of the Kansas City Chiefs is one of the things that's actually been improving throughout the season. There are so many other things to point out that need to improve. I think this is the one thing that, if there's something to, like the silver lining in this game, that Jonathan Taylor could be, I don't want to say shut down, because I think if Jonathan Taylor is 75 yards or under, that's shut down.
I don't disagree with you. I will say, I mean, Denver, their number one running back was out. So that definitely helps. When your number one running threat is sitting on the sideline, you're going to hold them to a little bit less than average. The Chiefs' run defense hasn't been bad. And I mean, I'm just spitting this off the top of my head, so anybody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Chiefs have only allowed one 100-yard rusher this season, and that was Cook when they played Buffalo. And I think that was a lot because when you play Buffalo, you got to pick your poison. And we chose not to have Josh Allen just dominate. And
Hmm.
that leaves room for Cook to run. And Cook got over 100 yards, but he's done that a lot. Now, we haven't seen anybody like Jonathan Taylor. I mean, when I say a man possessed, that's kind of downplaying it.
Well,
I mean, what he's doing this season is incredible. It's very reminiscent of Barkley last year, LT in the old days, back when we had Priest doing his thing. I mean, the guy
mm,
is going off, and it's cool to see because you root for them until they're a threat, and they weren't a threat until this season. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, definitely the number one threat, but Daniel Jones has been playing some good football too. And I mean, who saw that coming?
yeah. Now you say we haven't seen a running back like this possessed, but we did face the Ravens in Week 4 against King Henry, and
They barely
remember
ran him.
that's yeah, 8 attempts, 42 yards. I mean, it wasn't 5.2 yards per carry, but they were in a position where they had to throw a lot,
Yeah.
and yeah, and
I
so
mean,
they
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 treated that
didn't get
game like the
to.
Chiefs treat the run game. And they're like, nope, we're keeping the ball in our quarterback's hands. So
So here's what I'm kind of hoping is going to happen, and I'm not sure if it's going to be accomplished the way that it was. So last season when we played the Saints, Bob brought up a really good point that Alvin Kamara was their best weapon, and at that point last season he was killing it on a weekly basis. And we need to take away, do the Bill Belichick thing where you take away their biggest weapon and make them beat you some other way. This is one of those teams that has one significant weapon that if you take that away, that it could mean trouble for their offense. I'm kind of hoping it goes that way, but I don't know that I've seen enough from the Chiefs run defense to think that they can really stop Jonathan Taylor. I don't know that they can keep him under 100.
I don't know. I mean, it's obviously the biggest story of the game. And that's for any team that's going up against Indy right now. That offensive line and that running game are just incredible. I mean, what was it? Was it last week when Taylor racked up 286 total yards and 3 touchdowns? I mean, that's absurd. I'm
On
jealous.
like on 32 attempts though. I mean, it's which is still 7.6 yards per. I mean, that's no slouch, but I
Why
mean,
would
they
you
were
not feed him?
running him. They
Why
were
would you not feed him?
mm,
But
yeah. God,
it's
I'm
gonna
just
be
looking at his
good.
I'm I'm looking at his weekly numbers and I'm just like, oh, if Kansas City had a running back like this, that might make a difference. It might. It might.
Well,
That whole Brees Hall discussion, and it would have been nice to have him, but I don't think it would have changed much as far as the record's concerned, so I don't think it would have been worth it. But
gotta have a coach
Jonathan
that wants to
Taylor?
run the ball. I mean, what I think I saw something that Kareem Hunt was averaging something like 4 point something per carry against Denver, but they only ran him, I think, a
Mhm.
total of 12 times, something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, you gotta run the ball. You have to.
Well, I wonder if that's a symptom. So we know that Andy Reid will on aging players, he will basically put a timer on the guy. He's only got so many snaps per practice. He's only got so many snaps per game. When we talked to Tamba, he talked about it. I mean, they had the discussion. Him and Andy had the discussion. He was pissed off at Andy for doing it, and he didn't tell him that he was doing that. But he was basically trying to save Tamba from himself, and that's what he does. And we think there are times when we don't see Kelsey out there a whole lot, and I'm thinking that's what that is. At this point, he's just trying to save Kelsey from himself and allow him to be able to play longer if that's what he wants to do. So I think that might be what's happening with Kareem a little bit is regardless of the running back situation, I don't think that we're going to see him more than 15 touches per game. I could be wrong, but I don't. He
Well, and
looks
it The other thing though, then can we see somebody else?
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that it was just overall, we're not gonna run it. And that's getting frustrating. I mean, it can't just be on Mahomes. And I mean, I don't need to say how much we all love Mahomes, but he was a little off. And the week before that, or not the week, 2 weeks before that against Buffalo, I, his worst performance that he's had in his entire career. And I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm just saying that there might just be a little bit too much relying on Mahomes going on right now. We've got running backs, and we honestly don't know what they can do because we're not trying them out. I know we got into that a little bit in the post game, and I stand by it. I think you got to start running these guys. You got to give the defense a rest every once in a while. And, the way to do that is by running the ball and getting some first downs. And, that also opens up the possibility for Mahomes going deep a couple more times, that, get the defense coming up instead of always falling back. Put Mahomes under center a little bit more often instead of just in the shotgun, which everybody knows that if you're under center, it's Kareem going up the middle. If you're in shotgun, we're probably passing. I mean, it's just
Yeah, and for me, I can't believe I'm going to say this because last season I was so I want to see some long ball. It just kind of didn't ever seem to happen. The long ball was just kind of a pipe dream with the offensive line that being the way that excuse me, they were playing last year. This season, I, I love that they're not getting away from it, even though they haven't been all that successful with the long ball. There's been a few good ones, but there's been a lot of misses. I love that they're still going for it. But if I think the very first drive was 3 and out, and there were two passes incomplete over 20 yards in the air. I could be wrong on that. I should have looked at my notes beforehand, but there's no momentum. You can't gain momentum if there isn't a little bit more of a short game. And I think some of these long passes, it's almost like they don't have any short options for Mahomes. It's like, well, we're sending three deep, and those are our three guys. One of them got to get something, and there's just no escape route for Mahomes. Now, the camera angles that we're seeing, we don't get to see all the field. So, there's parts of the field that I can't see. There might have been an option over there that I just wasn't seeing, but it is something I'm paying attention to on some of these longer plays that they're trying to get to develop, and there's pressure on Mahomes or he gets sacked. They'll show the replay 8 different times from 4 different angles, and I feel like I got a pretty good read on those, but uh, I I would just like to see some quicker passing plays, mix it up a little bit. I love the long ball, but it's not as successful. No
well,
Tyreek Hill anymore.
we lived off the quick passes the past couple years. I mean,
But
that's how they
it's
got
almost
where they
like that's
were.
all it was, though.
Yeah, it truly was. There wasn't really much. I mean, Worthy came in last year, but it's not like he was really just right out of the gate a deep threat. He was kind of gadgety, especially in the first game. They showed that we're going to use Worthy last year against the Ravens. We're going to use Worthy in all kinds of different ways, and you should be scared because he's fast. And it
Mm-hmm.
worked. And the quick passes, they were great last year. And maybe that was the difference in the one-score games last year versus the one-score games this year. We won them all last year. We've lost them all this year.
Yeah.
And I do love seeing him take the deep shots. I don't know. Maybe it's because Mahomes is a little bit out of practice. The good thing is he's not underthrowing the receivers, but unfortunately he is overthrowing the receivers. And that's tough to do when you got guys that fast out there running down the
Mm-hmm.
field. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's something you can fix, because if you underthrow, you end up with a lot of interceptions. But I don't know.
Yeah. And
Let's get back. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, one thing we've talked about a lot in the past is that Mahomes does not like to throw up the 50-50 ball, right? And so last year we saw receivers not getting open enough downfield, and Mahomes didn't have time to get it to him, but he didn't have anybody that he thought he could throw to. That's why DeAndre Hopkins just wasn't going to work with this offense. This season, I think that's his answer to, well, I've got to throw to these guys that are going to be covered. I mean, this is the NFL, so I'm going to have to put it out there where only the receiver can get it. And he will get, I agree with you. I think he'll get better at it. What do
Yeah,
you think?
and I don't know. He's still doing a lot of running around like he's scared for his life,
Mm-hmm.
even though
A little
he
bit.
does have pretty decent protection going on. But he's acting like it was last season when that left side was an open gate. Um, but there were glimpses in some of the early games where you saw where he was getting comfortable and he was taking his time. He was reading the defense. He was doing his check downs. He was processing everything, and it just looked brilliant. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we've kind of regressed from that. And I feel like hopefully Reed is kind of talking to him about, look, man, just run through your progressions and step up into that pocket and throw it. And we both talked about how frustrating it was last week when you got to take off, take off.
Yep.
Use those legs. We don't have a run game. There's a reason why you were the leading rusher, but now you're just not going to run. Well, then, I mean, with zero run game, you're not going to be very effective
Yeah.
on your offense.
Yep. Yep. That definitely has to change, I think, for this team to get where they need to be to win the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens this week. What do you think we take some chat?
I
Um,
agree. I've kind of been eyeing the chat to the side here, and
yeah, I got a
there's some
couple of
good
them.
points coming up.
Yeah, let's give a little shout out here. HD Chiefs fan in the house. Gary Holland. What else we got? Salty Vet. What's up, Salty Vet? Gary Holland. Witchy. What's going on, Witchy woman? Gary Holland, Salty Vet. Jay Z the White is in the house. What's up, buddy? Oh, Janae Rains. All right. And
Hey, I want to tell everyone just a quick shout out. Thanks for spending your Friday night with us. We know that
yeah,
this
no
isn't when
kidding.
we normally go on here. Of course, I'm new, so I mean, I'm not used to going on a Friday night. So thanks for coming and spending some time with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and my 6-year-old is not real keen on this idea for tonight, but yeah, it's what it is. I got her a bunch of candy and soda. She's all right.
Nice. You didn't get me anything.
I did, but I'm not at your house, so I'll save it for you. All
Yeah,
right.
touche.
So let's go with let's see. We're just kind of go in order of the ones. Tom, in the top right of every one of these little boxes here, you see a little star.
I
If you
don't.
oh, you might not be might
I'm
not be
still the
set
new
up for that.
guy. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
you
the
might not be
rookie
set up
here,
for that.
so
Okay.
they only give me half the playbook.
All right. So if there's any of these chats that you want me to throw on the screen, just let me know. But the first one I'm going to start with here is Salty Vet said, "Damn, these dudes are going to be late to their own funerals." Yeah, well, we are late from time to time, or pretty much 90% of the time. Sorry, it's technical glitches. We had some things happen and whatever.
There
We
has
want
been a
to.
term since I think maybe I got out of high school. There's been a term that my friends have always used that I run on Tom time. And I've never been able to really change that. My wife will tell you all about that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Tom time, it's getting annoying to me at this point. I'm late to everything. So I hope I am late to my funeral. But yeah,
I'm gonna throw Bob under the bus here. I am late to nothing. If I'm not 10 minutes early to everything, then I get anxiety really bad. So I'm almost always ready. There's probably like one or two shows that were late because of me. The rest are because Bob needs to get some stuff together. But whatever. You know what? We want to give you the best show that we
Well, now
can.
everybody's going to think this is my fault. This isn't
No, just tonight.
necessarily
Before
my
it was
fault.
Bob's. Just
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah. No,
Okay.
tonight
All right.
it was stuff. So, and I think there's still a little technical glitchy stuff going on too. So, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully, it doesn't get too bad that you don't want to watch. So what else we got here? Well, HD Chiefs fan had to leave. HD Chiefs fan said, "Well, my beautiful wife has informed me that we're going to dinner, so I'll catch you all later." Well, when you watch this back later, HD, I hope you had a good dinner.
I would like to call out there is a comment up there. I believe it was about when I said, correct me if I was wrong, but I think we've only allowed one 100-yard rusher. But there is a comment that says, correct Tom. And that's my favorite comment so far that I've seen.
Okay, I'll throw it up. Hold on. There it is. That's a salty vet. Correct, Tom.
There we
You
go. It's not very often that I'm correct,
It's on
but
the record.
boy, it's nice to see it.
Bob, we were in the middle of some rant one time, and I think we were just filming a video, and it wasn't even live. And I turned over and I said, "You're right, Bob." And he takes that and he'll throw that in like when we're going back and forth on something, and he'll just throw it up on the screen. And I'm like, "You got to stop that, man. I got to get a couple of those." Jay-Z the White says, "Sup, fellow Chief nerds." That we are. That we are. Let's see here. Oh, here's one. Jay-Z the White said, "Who knew Danny Dimes was actually Danny Diamonds?" This guy is killing it this year. He's only got one game over 300 yards, but he's throwing touchdowns.
Like, I don't want to say. Well, I'm going to say it anyways. I don't want to call him a game manager because then this is going to go up as a clip and all of Indianapolis is going to come after me just like Denver did last week. Look, I don't want to call him a game manager, but I mean, he's not out there breaking the game wide open, but he's efficient. He really is. And he's not making mistakes. And what more can you ask for? You're moving the ball, matriculating down the field. And when you have that run game to rely on, I mean, that run game is going to make any quarterback look a little bit better.
Oh, 100%. And he's not, I mean, he throws some picks. He's got a game with 3 picks and a game with 2 picks. He throws the ball up for opportunity. I don't really have a whole lot of confidence that our defense is the one that's going to show up and pick that ball off 3 or 4 times. Love to be wrong on that, but
it's a possibility. The thing that stands in the way of that, though, is that their offensive line is really good. And I mean, that's what contributes to a lot of Taylor's success. But because that line's so good, your secondary is only as good as your pass rush. And so if we can't get to him, he's not going to make as many mistakes. Now, if we can put some pressure on him, that could change a lot of things. I mean, I think it's important for the Chiefs to get a lead and sit on that lead and force them to have to push that ball down the field and not just keep handing it off to Taylor. I think that's going to be one major key to success in this game is get the lead, keep the lead, have them chasing, because the run game is secondary when you're chasing that lead.
Yeah, now he did take 7 sacks against the Falcons last week. Now, they still won the game, but he will take some sacks. He's had several games with multiple sacks. So if the Chiefs, and that's a big if, you said if the Chiefs can get some pressure, I'd love to see some more blitzing, man. It's clear that the front 4 are not going to get it done. It's just not going to happen. So I'm fine with the way they're playing run D, but man, they got to get pressure on pass plays. They got to.
Well, I'll tell you what, in my opinion, I think this is a good opportunity to start getting creative with the blitzes as well. I mean, if you're not afraid of him, then start sending your corners and your safeties on those blitzes and make him get rid of it quick. Is he good enough to do it? Is he going to adapt quick enough to be able to do that? Start bringing these creative blitzes, and Spags has an entire book full of them. I think that's how you're going to get to them, because when it just comes down to 4-on-4, I don't know that we're getting to them.
But we haven't seen it since the Ravens game. That defense, that defensive strategy against Lamar Jackson in week 4 was magical. It was almost legendary. It was so much fun to watch. He threw out the 4-3 base package, which we've not seen from Spags maybe once or twice in a season. He was just all game and throwing 5 and 6 guys all from different angles. Lamar Jackson was just like, what's going on here? He had nowhere to go. It was brilliant. And we really kind of thought that was the game plan going forward, and it just stopped. It just stopped. And it's maddening because pressure is one of the biggest it's one of the biggest talking points of Chiefs fans.
Sure. And I mean, we're at that point in the season where typically they're starting to hit their stride on defense, but I don't feel like that's where they're at.
Mm.
I really don't. I don't know if they're a couple weeks behind schedule or if they've just given up on those blitzes. And I'm going to call out a comment real quick. Um, that you mean the blitzes that we haven't done for a few weeks now is what Salty Vet said. And
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. There hasn't been a lot of creativity on the defensive side of the ball, and the offensive side of the ball has definitely regressed. It's really weird to see
Yeah.
because this team is kind of like a snowball. Every season that Mahomes has been there, they just get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, and it's just crazy to see them finally get into the playoffs and then boom, let's
Yeah.
go. And
Absolutely.
it's been a regression
Hey,
on both sides of the ball, I think.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's all three sides of the ball. I mean, special teams has been struggling, especially with the penalties of late.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's just a weird thing to watch happen.
It's
Hey
all
Tom, real quick, man, I've got like a tiny mini emergency here. I need like 2 minutes. Do you think you can kind of read through just some of the comments and do your thing for a minute? You'd be good.
if they'll have me. Yeah,
All
let's
right.
talk to people.
I mean, you're
Go for it.
better than Bob and I combined. Sorry.
All right, everybody, let's talk about Buck for a little bit. I mean, you guys like that guy? He's okay, I think. I've known him for a long time. But one thing I do want to talk about is let's see. Greg Quick, he just brought up the scary thing is that they have Sauce Garner and Mooney Ward at corners. Yeah. Um yes. They absolutely do. That was one of the big moves in right before the trade deadline was picking up Sauce Gardner, and that kind of shows that I think that the Colts believe that this is a year to go for it. They're all in. And I think that's one of those moves you make when you believe you're all in. And that's a huge pickup. That's a blockbuster trade right there. So, yeah, hopefully we're not throwing any balls to them. And instead, we're going over and around them or avoiding them. But we'll see how that plays out. I, I don't know. It's a good point to bring them up because their defense is nothing to just shake a stick at. They're definitely an efficient defense, and they got better in the past couple weeks.
Talking about the Colts defense.
No, no, I was talking about yes, I am talking about the
Okay.
Colts defense.
Sorry, I had to take my headphones off. It was
No, that's fine.
it was a true 6-year-old emergency.
Well, I
Apologies.
get that. I've got an 8-year-old, so those are getting a little bit more sophisticated as time goes on. Another comment is let's see. Another thing is why hasn't Williams been playing much? He's literally the second best cornerback on the team. I wish I had an answer for that. I really do. There are a lot of questions
Yes.
just like that I have.
Specifically, yeah, different guys that are being played and guys that aren't getting played.
In fact, it was last week, the first time that I came on. I mean, my biggest gripe is where's Thornton? I mean, that guy was the deep threat early in the season, and then they just abandoned him once Worthy got healthy and Rice came back. They were like, okay, back to the bench. They used him last week. It was great. But there's a lot of players like that I'm wondering.
Yeah, it's almost like there's oh man, I don't know, there's too much to go around. Mahomes is the one making the calls on the field who gets the ball. And I don't know, maybe I'm seeing this wrong, but it's almost like Mahomes likes to focus on a guy in a specific week. And I don't know if that's because he thinks that that guy's better suited against that defense, or if, Rice had a big week last week. So let's try to get Worthy, to be our main guy. And then, he does like to spread it around. Everybody's going to get a little action, but, to keep them happy. I mean, we've even seen a week or two where Juju had 4 or 5 catches.
That's
That
right.
can't be the game plan going in. I think it just kind of happened over the course of the game. He just
They
was
didn't
the
label the
scramble guy.
playbook Juju week.
But I do. I think, sometimes it just seems like Mahomes is absolutely paying attention to Rice. That's what we're seeing. Sometimes it's Worthy. Even a couple times Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I would like to see Hollywood a little bit more involved. I mean, we know just following him in his journey in the NFL, the guy's a solid receiver. And I would like to see him a little bit more involved. Juju, I mean, there was a point in time where Juju was the number one receiver on the
Mm.
Steelers.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guy was undeniable.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's definitely earned his keep and then left the Chiefs and came back. Love it. Um, Worthy, I wonder if he's the deep threat that we think that he is. I mean, have we really seen how many over the past 2 years, how many passes over 25 yards, I wonder? This would be a stat to look up. And if I had my AI up real quick, I'd ask. But how many completions over 25 yards in the air to Worthy?
Right. In the air over 25 yards.
Yeah, because Thornton, those things are in the air for about 40 yards, and that guy's coming down with them. I wonder about Worthy. I wonder if he's actually the deep threat that we thought he was going to be, or if he is more that kind of gadget player. With the sweeps and catch him on a slant where he's got some green in front of him, and then occasionally try to hit him down the sideline. But I, you know,
Yeah. I
what
feel like when he's,
what are you going to do? I mean, we're 5-5, and this is what they have us talking about now.
yeah.
I mean, and it's not like the entire coaching staff isn't having the same conversations,
I
saying,
feel like
"What do we do? How do we utilize these guys?"
Worthy is, like how some pitchers in the major leagues, they give, they tip their pitches. I feel like Worthy's kind of tipping, like when he gets to go deep, there's something about him. Maybe he's a little twitchy on the line, or his eyes get a little big, and they know he's going to go deep. He just doesn't seem to be as effective this season when he's going deep a lot, and he doesn't seem to be getting a lot of separation. So I, I don't know, man. You're right though. I would love to see him, going over the middle a lot more. Truly be able to be that X receiver. But I don't know. There seems to be some regression though from Worthy, as specifically from last year. I thought there was a lot of growth last year, and we gave a lot of that credit to DeAndre Hopkins. We know they were working one on one. I mean, Worthy gave the credit to DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, there's not really. I can't think of very many receivers that are better to work with.
No, I'm
Uh,
sure.
just in everything in wide receiver world. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is one of the goats. But it's salty vet actually brought up Worthy gets open deep. Mahomes just overthrows him. I agree. I mean, I've seen that more times than any completions. That's for sure.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, I think that's just and I could be completely wrong. I'm just a boob with an opinion, but I think it's just Mahomes knows that he's got to take some shots downfield. He doesn't feel comfortable throwing to a guy that isn't completely open, and he's trying to get more comfortable, and he's just trying to put it in the one spot he knows the defender can't get it. And if his guy doesn't get it, as long as the defender doesn't get it, I I don't know. One guy said
Yeah.
that Mahomes is interception prone. I know that that guy's a Chiefs hater, and that's fine. Whatever. Have your opinion. Thanks for tuning in and listening. But I don't know that he's interception prone. I he makes a few bad throws every once in a while, but I've never I mean, that's never been one of my things about Mahomes that I want to complain about. I don't know. Do you disagree?
I don't disagree. I mean,
I mean,
I, I don't know. I laugh whenever anybody takes shots at Mahomes. Like, get real, dude.
oh yeah. I mean, he's either the greatest to ever play or the second greatest. I mean, you pick. That's fine if you want to say he's second best. I mean, it's hard to argue that a man
But if
has
you want to
7
hate on him,
rings,
I mean,
but yeah, he doesn't
yeah.
deserve
I mean, I'll tell you right now. Don't know who the quarterback of your team is, but ours is better.
it. That's 100%. 100%. All right. What else we got here? Oh, there was one I wanted to read earlier before I had my little mini emergency. I'm not sure where it's at, but kind of going back. There was some good comments in here. Uh,
Well, I'm looking at one, just one. Somebody said, Casey Colossal said, I'm actually nervous about this coming game. Yeah, I think all of Kansas City is. I
that's the
mean,
one that. Yep.
we're at a point that we are not familiar with in the Mahomes era, and that's November football is extremely meaningful right now. I mean, it is. We're getting very close to. We take another loss. That we're looking at the end of the season come
Mm.
playoff time, and yeah. So yes, I'm very nervous about this game. I haven't been that nervous for a regular season game in a while, but I mean the stakes are high, and they're only getting higher, like I said. And every week it's going to continue to be like that, and we need a little bit of help from the teams in front of us. Losing to Jacksonville, losing to Buffalo, that was big. That put us behind the 8 ball quite a bit in this playoff race right now. We get to see the Chargers again. We get to see the Broncos again. Not that that's really going to have any effect on our playoff standings. The Chargers will. But we also have to play the Texans, who we are actually a half game behind right now because they played last night. Also beat the hell out of Josh Allen. Shout out to the Texans. That was an impressive defensive show from the Texans last night. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's entertaining. I'll
Yeah,
give it that. This is
it'll
a
be.
different feeling.
Yeah, like you said, this isn't a position that we're used to being in as in the Mahomes era, and it'll be interesting to see how the team reacts and how they play going out the rest of the season. I mean, I 100% believe that they have heart and want to, but what happens if it all falls apart and there's two more losses over the next 3 weeks and things aren't looking good?
Pack it up,
What
boys.
happens then?
Yeah, it's there's a part of me that's I look at the playoffs with the Chiefs the same as what they say about poker. All you need is a chip and a chair, and you're in. And you could just go on a run, and it would be crazy. And I think that about the Chiefs until there's games like last week, where last week I went in with this false sense of security of it's a must-win game. It's the Broncos. This reshapes how the AFC West is going to look if the Chiefs can walk away with a victory. They're coming off of a bye week. Everything was in their favor to go out there and win that game, and then they don't. And then now I look at it of, gosh, if they do get into the playoffs, like what I don't know. Am I confident? Not right now. I'm not.
Mm. Yeah, you always say once you're in the playoffs, it's good, and I mean in the Mahomes era, that's all we know is AFC Championship or better. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right though. I don't feel confident about this team going into the playoffs. Here's a really good comment here, Salty Vet again. I'll keep saying it. I think we need to miss the playoffs completely in order for anything to actually improve in the offseason. Too much success breeds complacency, and that's where we are. That's a powerful statement. It kind of hurts to hear, but
All that, and I've kind of been chewing on it.
yeah, I did.
Um, yeah, that's a good comment.
Hmm. Okay, so devil's advocate. All right, so the Chiefs missed the playoffs this year. The it's hard to bring it into words. The way that they improve in the offseason has got to be they have to improve more this offseason than they would have been able to in the previous 7 years. I mean, just based on position in the draft, you would think that they would be able to improve better in the offseason. It'd be something to look forward to.
That's
But we're gonna lose some big stuff. We're gonna.
no,
I mean,
that's a good way to sugarcoat it. Hey, that's something to look forward to. We're gonna
I
have a
mean,
better draft position. I mean, look, that's a shitty
you think the
consolation prize.
do you think the Chiefs tank it for the best pick next year?
No, I sure don't. Uh, I mean, I think they've got some fight in them. I just, I think they are a little spoiled. I think maybe a lot of them, like a lot of us, just think that, oh, it's going to click. It's going to work. I don't think Mahomes thinks that. I mean, I think anybody who has watched him his entire career, watched the quarterback series on Netflix, knows about his competitive nature. I don't think he gets complacent, but I can see, I mean, it kind of feels like maybe the coaching staff is getting a little complacent. Feels like maybe some of our defensive line is. I'm not calling anybody out in particular, but maybe some of our defensive line. Uh,
Chris Jones does not look like he's playing
oh, well, I wasn't going to name
in a
anybody, but
in a
I mean,
good
while we're
mood.
talking about it,
I mean, he doesn't. He looks like he's pissed off, and maybe this goes back to the whole Chris Jones lining up on the end, and Spags doesn't want him to, and we haven't seen it as much. So did somebody did they sit him down in the office and say, "Hey, look, man, you got to stop. You can't do that. You're killing us. You've lost games for us now. No more of that." And he's a strong personality. He's not just gonna. Well, maybe he did. Maybe he did just back down, and we're seeing some attitude. He doesn't have the same.
I don't know if it's attitude. I just don't know if he's got the gas in the tank.
I
I
mean,
really don't. I mean, maybe he is giving it his all, but he ain't getting there. I
he
mean,
could just
well,
be.
he has 3 times, but I mean,
Well,
he's not getting there. He's not
mm-mm.
dominating or taking over the game in any way, shape, or form. He just really isn't. And Karloftis isn't really replacing him, you know.
No, no.
So
Karloftis can get some second tier pressure. He just doesn't have the push to get there for that initial push. It's almost like there has to be some coverage to kind of give him some time to get there. And then if he's got time to get there, he'll get there because he's not going to quit. His
yeah,
motor doesn't quit. But
he's late to the party, but if the party's still going on, he's gonna be a hit.
right, he'll crash it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's see here. Oh, here's a really good one from a Raiders fan. Mahomes washed, Kelsey washed. Yeah, yeah. Geno Smith is the answer, buddy.
Oh
Now I
man,
will say Brock Bowers is looking like a badass. So, if you want to say Kelsey looks washed compared to this rookie, cool.
he's
Talk to
having a
us in
better.
five
I
years.
mean, he's
Yeah,
having a better
absolutely. I
season than
mean,
Brock Bowers is this year. But
yeah, but Brock Bowers has had some games that Kelsey hasn't. Kelsey's not breaking tackles anymore, man. He's just not. He's got like
has he
three
ever
on the
really
season.
broken tackles? He just
Sure.
does that little loop de loop, and then
Yeah.
and then he just
Yeah, but
starts falling
he
to the
used to stiff
ground as
arm.
he's
He
running.
used to stiff arm guys as he was running past, or he'd
It's been a minute.
bull rush him. But yeah,
It's
he's
been a
just getting
minute.
too old for that. He can't do that. I don't want to see him doing that. He's gonna get hurt. Every time I see him jump up real high and catch a ball and come down, my knees hurt. So
I
I
always
can't
like it
imagine.
though when I hear a Raiders fan have an opinion on football. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's all right. You can
Good
have
for
your
you.
15 seconds, buddy.
Well, I
All
do
right.
want to
Well,
address Mahomes washed. I just want to remind everybody that what was it, 4 weeks ago? He was the lead candidate for the MVP. But if that means washed, that's fine. Granted, that was 4 weeks ago, but that was this season. So Mahomes washed.
yeah, what I can't remember how the Raiders game went. I can't remember back that far. Did we win that game?
Who's that?
The Raiders
What's it?
when the Chiefs
Yeah, we
played the
ran out of.
Raiders.
Yeah, they
Did
ran out of
we?
room on the scoreboard. We
I
couldn't put
don't.
enough points up on the scoreboard. They just shut it down. They were like, "Sorry, guys, we."
Are you
Was
sure?
it
Because that
last
doesn't
season that
sound.
we ran out of fireworks against the Raiders because we had too many touchdowns?
That doesn't seem possible because Mahomes is washed, and I mean, a washed-up quarterback can't do that. All right, enough,
No,
enough.
not against a powerhouse like the Raiders.
All right, one last dig, and then now it's enough. All right. What does Salty Vet have to say? I haven't even read this, but he's had some really good stuff to say, or she, him or she. But drafting gets you far, but you have to take an occasional risk. Swing big, whether it be through trades or free agency. We can't just rely on Mahomes' magic every game. Jones has gotten lazy. That's a pretty
Can't
good summary,
disagree.
I guess. I
Yeah,
mean, I just don't
really
see.
can't disagree.
Yeah, I don't see big trades happening. That just doesn't seem to be Brett Veach's MO. So, yeah, we're going to have to hit it big through the draft, which I think we did pretty damn good in the draft this season, don't you? I mean, you weren't around talking
Yeah,
about it
I
with
don't
us
think
when it all went down, but how do you feel about it went?
I don't think the draft was bad. I mean, I think if any trades go on in the offseason, obviously that D line needs to be built up. Again, I mean, I say it all the time, but your secondary is only as good as your pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
And we need a better, more consistent pass rush. That's where we've been successful in the past when the defense really starts dominating games. It's because they're getting to the quarterback. And if we were going to make any trades, I think that's where it's got to be. Offensively, I mean, we could trade for a running back, but that doesn't mean anything. A lot of these plays are RPOs, run pass options, that Mahomes has the option to hand it off if he wants. The thing is, he doesn't want to. He wants to keep the ball in his hands. And this isn't a knock on him, except for, maybe sometimes hand the ball off.
Well, this is kind of what you get when you've got an all-star quarterback. I mean, they're not stupid. That you don't get to be that level of athlete being an idiot, right? So he knows the level of running back he has on the team. He knows the level of his skill, and he knows what he can do. So yeah, I think he's going to want to keep it in his hands. But that can be a detriment at times. I mean, you're going to miss out on some some good running yards, some good games. But I don't know. It just seems to be the downfall. Like if you remember Brett Favre, he still thought he was the best quarterback in the league in his last year when he was struggling. Wasn't that with the Jets? I mean, the
I mean,
greatest, some of the greatest just don't like. There's always a downside. Michael Jordan was the biggest ball hog in the world, but he's remembered as the greatest to ever play, if not he's top 5, whatever. I'm not a basketball guy, but these guys just there's always going to be a downside. And man, if that's Mahomes' biggest downside is that he would rather have the ball, I don't know.
I
It's
mean, I'm
it's
fine with it.
it's more
There's
fun to
nobody,
watch passing game.
yeah, there's nobody that I'm feel more secure having the ball than Mahomes, obviously. But um, I don't know. I don't know. This is what happens when you're 5-5 in November.
Yeah,
Listen to these
yeah.
conversations that we're having.
And
It's
I just
crazy.
don't feel like the talent on the team we've seen at times during this season that when they're on, man, it's there should be no problem that we shouldn't be having these discussions. We've seen the discussion about the defense, the way they played in the Ravens game, man. That was absolutely brilliant. And I fervently believe that there's at least 3 of the losses that probably 4 could be wins if they'd have played defense the way they played against the Ravens. That's just how I feel. I could be wrong. It could be just reaching for at
I
anything to kind of blame. We'll see. I just know what I saw in that game and what I'm not seeing.
hope and a prayer.
Yeah. So yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. Um, Salty Vet, I want to say you're very active in the chat, and I love it because you are bringing up some really good points on everything. One thing I do want to ask though, when you said I'm a dude, did, did I
It's
call you a
because
lady?
earlier no, earlier I said he, and I was like, I don't know, it could be a she. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Thank you
okay.
for clarifying,
I was like,
salty.
what in the
Appreciate
world
it.
happened here?
I hope I didn't offend.
But
Um,
also, Salty Vet adds the RPO only works if the defense actually believes that you'll actually run it. Mahomes pulls the ball too much for it to be effective. Exactly. That's what I was saying. I mean, the RPO is just a drop back if that's all you're going to do every time you run the RPO. It's just a drop back. So nobody's going to buy into it. It's not a threat. And, he used to have that college mindset. And I mean, even earlier this season, he had that college mindset of calling it the triple option. I can hand it, I can drop back, or I can run it. And oh, that makes me mad about that Denver game. Just no scrambling out of him.
mhm.
And there were lanes. There were definitely lanes.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, man. We've kind of talked about this Colts team and our frustrations with the Chiefs team kind of ad nauseum here. Let's talk about betting. You got any? We've got something in the notes here about betting lines. Have you looked over those at all?
betting lines. Well,
Uh
I
huh.
do know that the Chiefs are favored by, I believe, 3.5 points. And I actually heard something interesting today that only 14 times in the history of the NFL has there been a situation where a team was with another team as good as 8-2. I'm not going to do the math on that. I mean, what 500 versus what 800? Yeah, I'm gonna go
Mm
ahead and say that's solid math.
hmm.
But with that kind of difference in the records this late in the season, that the 5-5 team is actually favored 14 times in the history of the entire NFL. Has that ever happened? And do you want to know what the record of the 5-5 team was? All
Of course I
14
do.
times.
Uh huh.
14 and 0.
14-0. The
14
five and
and
five
0.
team won.
Yes. So Vegas knows what they're talking about here. Now the Chiefs were favored against the Broncos as well, but the Chiefs at home in a must-win situation, 5-5 against 8-2, and 3.5 points.
14-0.
Oh, yeah, 14-0 in history. It's a weird stat, but when they threw it out there, I was like, wow. First of all, how do you even research that? Boy, you
Yeah.
got to dig through a lot of records
Yeah.
to find that.
That's not a
But
quick Google search.
3.5, I'll tell you what, I'll take the Colts. I'll take the Colts on 3.5 because if the Chiefs win, I think it's only going to be by 3. So that's the only reason I would take the Colts. I do think the Chiefs can win this game. I think they will win this game because when it comes down to the NFL being an entertainment league, and Mahomes has even joked about it in the past that, well, I keep these games close because it's for entertainment value. I mean, for the Chiefs to hold their entertainment value, they need to stay in the hunt, stay relevant, and a win like this gets people talking about them again in a positive light as opposed to what happened last week. So I take the Chiefs for the win, but only by 3. That's what I'm seeing.
I I I love that. I think that's a very realistic take on what could happen. But I think something crazy is going to happen. I really do. I think the Colts are going to get exposed. I think the Chiefs' the run defense is going to do what they did last week, and they're going to hold Jonathan Taylor to under 75 yards and no touchdowns. I think they're going to make Daniel Jones beat them in the air. And I think that he might struggle a little bit. There might be a little bit of pressure on the defense. Maybe we see some extra blitzing. I think this is a 28-20 game, 28-18-20, something like that. But I think the Chiefs win this by more than a full 7 points. That's my prediction. Don't go to
Wow.
Vegas with that because
I like that. That's
I can't
confident.
reimburse you.
That is
But
confident.
yeah, I look, man. At this point, I think that like you said, I think the Chiefs. This is a must win game, so they're going to go out there and show some stuff. Come on, Spags, give us something to cheer about. Give us something to get
I think
off the
this is going to
couch
show
for.
us. I agree. Well, besides yelling at the TV angrily, because there's plenty of that. I've been jumping up and down a ton during these games, yelling at the TV. Why didn't you run it there? He was wide open in the flat. Yeah, but I mean, I like that by more than a touchdown, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's either that or the Chiefs are going to get embarrassed, and I don't want to consider that. So I'm just going with the optimistic approach today. Yep, definitely.
Salty, I see your comment that there's no way we're winning it by that margin if we win. I already said what I think. I think that we're winning by a field goal, but I think this game is going to tell us a lot. Actually, I think this game is going to tell us everything about how the rest of this season is going to go. Because we've got, a team that's tied for the number 1 seed coming into Arrowhead. We're in a must-win situation. How do we respond? We're coming off the toughest loss of the season. How do we respond? And if they can step up, and I mean, I wouldn't be just completely shocked if they do win by more than a touchdown, because if that's how they respond to this, then we know that, you know what, we got a chance. We got a chance. We can make it to the playoffs. We can take out the Chargers. We can take out the Texans. We hopefully aren't going to have a stupid loss as we move forward. I think this game's going to tell us everything that we need to know. But if we go out there and we lose this game, that's also going to tell us everything that we need to know, that pack it up. Enjoy that the Chiefs are playing on Thanksgiving, but it probably doesn't mean anything anymore. And the Christmas game, don't let it ruin your Christmas, because the season was over way before that. This game's going to tell a lot.
Yeah, and if I'm wrong, Salty, if I'm just if I smoked crack and I'm crazy and that's not how it goes down on Sunday, be sure to come here after the game and tell me. Throw it in my face. Cool, I'll take it.
Or share it with all of the Indy fans, because when you have a take like that against the opposing team's fans, I got ripped apart by Denver this past week. And I think it's still going on. I think they're still talking trash, because I said I thought the Chiefs were going to win that game. I didn't think that Denver really matched up that well, to be honest with you, against the Chiefs. I mean, granted, they got a great defense and that pass rush is mean, but the way the line has been protecting Mahomes, I thought we had the upper hand. I was wrong, and boy, I'm getting eaten alive.
Yep, and Salty, we said this right, at the beginning of the stream here. Denver was a must-win, and we saw how that went. Sorry, I just don't have my usual confidence after losing 2 winnable games in a row. Yeah, I mean,
Heard.
Yeah, there's no way to say that better.
Yeah, 100%.
So, all right, well, kind of wrapping things up. Tom, did you have anything to say before we wrap things up?